like you. Be strong to hold the powers of the sun. To dream, believe in strength. Now I'm the only one.
Hello everyone. Welcome back to Diorpop. Here, we don't just follow schedules. We follow energy. We follow glances. We follow the quiet shifts in atmosphere that most people scroll past without noticing. Because sometimes, the loudest chapters in Bangtan's journey aren't written on stage. They're written in airports. In departures. In the soft space between one country and the next. And this time, Portugal. That afternoon in Portugal felt different. The sky stretched wide and impossibly blue, the ocean breeze drifting lazily through the city as if time itself had decided to slow down. The streets still moved. Cafes buzzed. Footsteps echoed against old stone roads polished by centuries. But for Bangtan, something intangible hung in the air. A quiet goodbye. Not dramatic. Not heavy. Just present. Bangtan Boys were preparing to leave Portugal. For the world, it was simple. Another airport sighting. Another update. Another post that read, Bangtan Boys leave Portugal. Have a safe trip. It sounds ordinary. But for 7 men who have lived their lives in motion, the word leave is never simple. Leaving is not just about geography. It's about atmosphere. About rhythm. About closing a chapter that felt safe, even if only for a few days. Portugal had been gentle with them. No roaring stadiums. No blinding stage lights. Just quiet moments stitched between long schedules. A soft place to land. And each of them carried it differently. RM walked slightly ahead, as he often does. Not because he separates himself, but because leadership naturally leans forward. Namjoon looked calm. Composed. Thoughtful. Portugal gave him something rare, perspective without pressure. He walked foreign streets reading unfamiliar words, absorbing textures of old buildings, feeling small beneath architecture that had existed long before him. For someone who carries the weight of 6 others, feeling small can be healing. He didn't speak much during this stay. But he noticed everything. The way golden sunlight slid down tiled walls. The silence between passing cars. The ocean wind that didn't demand anything from him. These are the details that later return as lyrics. Portugal may not appear in a song title, but it will live somewhere in his lines. Jean followed with that familiar smile. The kind that lightens departure without erasing its meaning. If goodbyes have gravity, Jean knows how to adjust the weight. He cracked a small joke to staff. He laughed softly. He made the moment breathable. As if to remind everyone, it's okay. We'll come back. But beneath the ease, there is awareness. Time is fast. Too fast. And Jean feels it, even if he chooses warmth over melancholy. JHope carried brightness, even after packed schedules. Portugal suited him. The patterned stone streets. The late afternoon glow that turned buildings gold. The relaxed rhythm of a city that doesn't rush. Hosiak notices detail like a collector of moments. He stores them carefully. The curve of a balcony. The echo of footsteps in narrow alleys. The shade of blue just before sunset. He may not say it aloud, but these fragments will return. In choreography. In music. In memory. Portugal becomes inspiration, quietly. Taehyung walked as if he were inside a film scene. He looked up often. At windows framed in fading paint. At ancient walls textured with history. At the sky stretching beyond rooftops. Portugal felt cinematic. Classic. So layered. There was a small pause in his steps once, almost invisible. As if he wanted to memorize the frame exactly as it was. Taehyung loves places like he loves art. Silently. Completely. Yoongi moved with his usual quiet presence. Minimal expression. Maximum depth. Portugal gave him something rare, stillness without demand. No overwhelming noise. No urgency. Just calm. And Yoongi thrives in calm. He may not post about it. He may not describe it in detail. But when he left, he carried something unseen. The kind that fuels creation later. And then, Jimin and Jungkook. If the world calls them Jikook, it's not without reason. Their dynamic doesn't need spectacle. It lives in instinct. On that departure day, Jimin walked slightly slower. His expression was soft, almost reflective. Portugal touched him. Jimin connects deeply to atmosphere, to emotional temperature, to subtle shifts in energy. He absorbs places like they are people. Jungkook noticed. He always does. Without words, without signals, he adjusted his pace. Slowed down. Closed the distance. It wasn't dramatic. It wasn't staged. It was natural. As if his body recognizes Jimin's rhythm before his mind even processes it. For Jungkook, this isn't grand romance. It's instinct, especially during transitions. Airports are in-between spaces. They represent movement, uncertainty, change. And in moments of change, Jungkook rarely drifts far from Jimin. Portugal, for them, wasn't just scenery. It held quiet laughter in hotel hallways, late-night conversations, shared silences after long days. They don't show everything. They don't need to. Because what exists between them thrives in detail, not declaration. While waiting, Jimin turned slightly. Just enough. Their eyes met. No long dialogue. No theatrical reaction. Just a small smile. Private. So, the kind not meant for cameras. Jungkook returned it immediately. Gentle. Certain. The world might miss it. But subtle moments are often the most honest. Have a safe trip, Jimin. Have a safe trip, Jungkook. Simple words. But layered. Jimin carries fan love openly, warmly. He lets it show. Jungkook carries it quietly, deep inside. He transforms it into strength. Bangtan moved together toward departure. 7 individuals. 7 internal worlds. Portugal became a quiet chapter in their long journey. Not explosive. Not chaotic. But honest. When the plane finally lifted from the runway, there was no dramatic music. No cinematic wave. Just descent. Smooth. Steady. Forward. Bangtan Boys leave Portugal. But leaving doesn't erase. It transforms. Portugal now lives in memory. In sunlight recollections. In peaceful breaths. In slowed steps. And maybe years from now, someone will say, "Do you remember Portugal?" And they will. The ocean air. The warm stone streets. The calm. And perhaps, the way 2 people adjusted their steps without speaking. Diorpop closing. And that's the thing about Bangtan. They don't just move across maps. They move through moments. Every goodbye is softer than it looks. Every departure holds something unsaid. Bangtan Boys leave Portugal. Have a safe trip, yeah. Have a safe trip, Jin. Have a safe trip, Suga. Have a safe trip, JHope. Have a safe trip, E. Have a safe trip, Jimin. Have a safe trip, Jungkook. The plane disappears into the sky. But the story? It keeps unfolding. And here at Diorpop, we'll be watching the quiet details. Because sometimes, that's where the real story lives.